This set has been a source of negativity since even before its release, so I waited until I could find it on clearance to buy it. And honestly, I think I was wrong for waiting. Obviously, the helmet holes are the elephant in the room, but there are a bunch of other things about this set which everyone just hated on, so I decided to wait for it, or not even buy it at all. But then I found this number, this destroyed package at Walmart, and it was even marked down to $12. Got all the figures, I got all the pieces, so let's review this thing. Starting off with our build, we've got the Swamp Speeder, which actually looks pretty good. However, I'm not sure if it's an accurate size. From what research I did online, this is the best picture I could find, and I guess this one would be a little bit smaller than that. I will say, the front actually looks pretty good and accurate to what we see on there, even with the stud shooters, which I thought I would never say before. I usually hate stud shooters, but here they aren't intrusive at all. I think they did a good job at rounding it off, as well as getting that curve part on the top of the bar thing. But on the back, we've got this circle dome. It actually looks pretty good too, and again, more accurate than I believed it was, and it even has two hooks on the side that you can put minifigure weapons on if you wanted to. The side of the build looks pretty good too. We've got a classic Lego chairs in there, and of course this does fit one of these Ahsoka clone troopers, and you can fit him in there really nicely, even with his blaster. That being said though, we have a problem with these seats, and it's this jetpack. Lego has you put 2 jetpacks on each of these clones, but this jetpack can't fit in the seat. This problem raises 2 issues that has nothing to do with the helmet holes or the printing of the helmets, but in fact, it's just what LEGO says about their other pieces that they make. They say that cloth waist capes make it so figures can't sit down during play, but then this piece makes it so figures can't sit down during play. On top of that, they print the jetpack for Captain Vaughn when they give us a physical jetpack here. Why? I know this is a little bit nitpicky, but if you take a stance on something, I feel like you gotta take that stance. I have to believe that this set, as well as the ATTE, were in production at the same time, so they could have made a new jetpack piece for both sets, for both Commander Cody and Captain Vaughn. But don't worry, they included a stud shooter on 4 legs, so problem solved, right? There's literally no more issues with this set. Wow. What seemed to me to be the most talked about parts of the set were the price and, of course, all of these figures. Ahsoka clone troopers are something that we had a little bit ago that was just barely retired. And these ones, according to many, were a step down, probably due to printing and, of course, the helmet holes too. But are they really that much worse than the original one? I don't really think so, but let me explain why. Of course, this is a battle pack, so 3 of our minifigures are the exact same, but they give you all these accessories so you can customize them to look the way that you want them to. But the 3 minifigures that we do have are basically the exact same Ahsoka clone troopers that we got in that AAT set. They literally look the exact same, other than the helmets, which are slightly different, but the printing is so close that it might even be hard to notice which one's which. Honestly, the backs are some of my favorites of these figures, and they look great here too. Of course, I only put 1 jetpack on to these guys, but they have 2, so you can customize these however you want. Of course, you've got the helmet holes to put some stuff on them too. But the comparison between helmet holes and no holes looks just like this. They are very similar, and it's almost hard to tell which one's which from far away. Obviously, our torsos and legs are literally the exact same pieces, so the only difference here is the helmet. And you can obviously tell that the helmet wart is there on the new ones, but the reality is the printing looks so similar that if you didn't have the old one, or you only had one like me, that they all look basically like the same figure. Printing, yes, is a little bit wider on the newer one, and I don't necessarily think that that's a bad thing. If we look at the actual one from the TV show, they are both inaccurate figures, just in different ways. One of them is a bit too wide, one of them is a bit too close. But the orange is actually supposed to go around the entire dome of the helmet on the full front half. So regardless, they are inaccurate whether you have helmet holes or not. That said, another point of complaints of this set was the Captain Vaughn, and that figure I have somewhat agreeing with. I do appreciate LEGO for printing that tiny patch just to differentiate him a little bit, but yes, his visor piece is supposed to be red. That said, these orange pieces allows me to make my Phase 1 Commander Cody even more accurate, so win-win. Of course, I've already talked about the jetpack, but I will say that I don't mind having the print at least. I mean, it's something that LEGO went out of their way to do, so I'll take it. With that said, is this set really as bad as they say? I'm gonna have to say yes and no. I think the helmet warts and the printing are a little bit over dramatic, and honestly the helmets don't look that much different from the original. I like the set build, and I think the Swamp Speeder looks good, as well as just the figures in the set are great if you love Ahsoka clone troopers. For me, I'm not a huge fan of the 332nd, but I do appreciate that LEGO was able to make these because they probably won't come back for a very long time, if ever. Despite all that, I don't think I'd be willing to pay more than $12 for the set, so huge thank you to Walmart for clearancing this thing out, and and thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below. I would love to make more videos for you. Helps the channel out a ton. And comment. Tell me what you think about this set.